So our event today will have a duration of approximately 60 minutes. So we have 3 presentations in total, which will take around 10 minutes. And then at the end of the session, we will have a question and answer session. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat so we can later go back to them in our Q&A session. I would like to ask you to turn off your video and also mute your microphone. I see some of you have already done this, so this would be perfect. And yeah, well, our seminar today is jointly organized by the Energy Agency in North Rhine-Westphalia and the German-Mexican Chamber of Commerce. And before I hand over to Kira Potowski from the German-Mexican Chamber, I will briefly introduce myself and also the work of the Energy Agency, since there might be some participants who don't know me yet or also our work. So my name is Inga Söllner, and I'm working here at the Energy Agency in the field of international relations, where I'm mainly responsible for the cooperation with Latin American countries. And well, what is the Energy Agency doing? Well, the Energy Agency is an operating platform working with a broad competence in the field of energy on behalf of the government here in North Rhine-Westphalia. And yeah, well, let's say the work can be divided into 4 different service areas. So first of all, we are establishing and also promoting networks on different energy technologies, such as renewable energies, but also working on mobility, storage, and grid solutions. Moreover, we are promoting market initiatives. We are offering initial consultancy services, and we are also active in the field of public relations and knowledge management. And here in the field of international relations, our main aim is to promote or support better companies from the region, from North Rhine-Westphalia, in discovering new international markets and also building relations abroad. So for this purpose, we are organizing information events, such as the event today, but we are also organizing business trips, and we are at booths, at fairs on international level, and we are also always receiving delegations from all over the world. Well, this was just a really brief overview of our work, and now I would like to hand over to Kira, who will introduce herself and the work they are doing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Inga. My name is Kira Potowski. I'm working at the German-Mexican Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And in Mexico, we are we have about 800 members of different sectors: the automobile sector, the energy sector, the industry 4.0, health sector, chemicals, and so on. And we actually do similar things of what Inga already mentioned. They're doing in the Agentur. We are also organizing business trips, and we will announce some of them at the end of the session. And obviously, we have a good overview of the Mexican market in these different sectors I mentioned. And I also want to thank very much obviously Inga and the ENERGIEAGENTUR.NRW, as well as our panelists for today. And feel free to ask in the chat whatever question comes to your mind. We are also having afterwards, we are recording the session, so you will be able to see it and listen to it again. And we will also send you the presentations of our experts afterwards as well. So I give back to Inga. Thank you, Inga.
Yeah, well, thank you, Kira. So before we start with our presentations, we also would like to get to know you better. That's why we have prepared 2 really short polls. So I would like to start with the first one. So we would like to know which topics are you particularly interested in. So there are quite some options you can choose. So we will give you some seconds and then we'll have a look at the results. Okay, I think most of you choose one option or so I see. Well, the picture is quite clear. So most of you are particularly interested in solar and wind energy. So perfect. That's actually the topic we are talking today. So I have one more question, because we also would like to know a bit more about your experiences with the Mexican market. So the second question is, sorry, I'm confused. I've seen you already have responded also to the second one. So, well, I see that most of you, about 75%, are already observing the market, and yeah, and some of you already have implemented or are currently planning some projects. Perfect. Thank you so much. So now I would like to go over to our presentations. So Alexander will start by presenting his work and the common projects. And yeah, well, Alexander, if you're ready, then the floor is yours.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
And my camera. Hello. So good day. Greetings from Mexico. And I will share now my presentation. Can you please let me know as soon as you see it? So, can anyone see the presentation? I hope so. I don't hear anyone. Inga?
Yeah, we do. It's perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Inga and Kira, for the invitation. My name is Alexander Foeth. I work for GOLDBECK Solar. I've been in the energy topic since 2013. And we are here in Mexico City. Our offices are in the German center. And we are 3 persons, GOLDBECK Solar in Mexico, who are here in Mexico, and then we have a whole team in Germany backing us up. The company is a family-owned company founded by Joachim Goldbeck. The headquarters are in Hirschberg and der Bergstraße, which is close to Heidelberg. And the company is founded in 2001, so we are close to our 20 years experience. We only focus on solar energy. We have already 900 megawatt construction of solar power and over 1,000 megawatt, 1 gigawatt, including ordered volumes. We have more than 700 megawatt in operation and maintenance. And we also build and plan and build grid connection stations. We offer the whole range. We construct solar parks, solar roofs, substations. We do project development and project financing for major solar parks, but also for other rooftop projects. We build them, EPC, which is engineering, procurement, and construction, and obviously the whole range of O&M services. So we are a fully integrated solar photovoltaic company, and our strong market is obviously Europe, but we are also now in Mexico since 2017 and in Chile. And we're also in Asia. And so I will go right now to what I want to talk about. It's just a brief overview about the energy reform in Mexico, which was implemented in the year 2014. So we are still quite a new energy market. On the left side, you can see how it was before the last 30 years or more. We had the generation was basically in the hands of the CFE, which was a state-owned energy company. There were some other possibilities to generate electricity for CFE, but they're very close. And then you see the whole monopoly of CFE, which is the system operation, the grid operation, and retail. And then you had the 3 customers, residential, commercial, industrial. The reform broke up this monopoly. You can see that now we have, on the right side, you see we have the private generators, which is something I'm going to show a slide later, what options you have. And then the grid was still in the hand of CFE. System operation is Senace, which is an independent institution. The retail, you can see also that now we have competition. We have private companies, which is E2M, basically he will talk about that. And on the consumer side, you have basically 2 groups, which are basic consumers, and then you have the qualified consumers that I will also show a slide about this. So the next slide, you can see the options you have if you are an end user in Mexico. The dotted line shows that you have the option. If you have a company or a plant or some industrial site which was in operation before August 2014, and you have a demand of capacity greater than 1 megawatt, you have the option to change to the new energy market, where you can look for a qualified supplier, an energy delivery company, and negotiate your own PPAs and your own prices. You can also stay in the with basically CFE, where you have regulated tariffs. Every month it's public. They publish the new price for the next month, and that's it. So you have no option of any negotiation or changing the prices. And if you are an end user who built your company, maybe today you decide to go to Mexico and build your plant, then and you have a demand greater than 1 megawatt capacity, you will have to switch to the new energy market or start right there. There is no option. If you are lower than 1 megawatt, you enter the regulated tariffs of CFE. So that's basically the side. If you have, we're talking about energy delivery. The next slide, I want to talk about what we are doing with our market. The energy reform recognizes something that is called own necessities. And it allows you now to generate your own energy on site or behind the meter, as you can call it. There are 3 basic options. The first one is called isolated supply, which, as the name says, it's behind the meter. It's a closed grid. It's a private grid. You need to have that, and then you can generate energy and consume it within the private grid. Then you have the local generation. It's basically the same, only that here you have opportunity to also inject into the grid, into the public grid. And it's not limited. Both the isolated supply and the local generation are not limited in what's called the capacity you can install. And then we have the third one, and that's what we are talking about today. It's called distributed generation, where you can install up to 500 kilowatt capacity, maybe on your rooftop or on a field next to your plant, and you can consume yourself or you can sell the energy. And there are three remuneration models: net metering, net billing, and total sell. And what we are talking about today, our example where we work with NOTUS and E2M, the other 2 companies here, is a solar generation, 500 kilowatt AC, and total sell into the spot market. So right now, the project, it's called Autódromo. It's in San Luis Potosí, which is basically the middle of Mexico. It's a very industrial area with a lot of German companies also, but international companies. And so that is how it's going to look like. It's basically a free field which was acquired and it's the green field. And right now we are setting up 500 kilowatt peak, which with bifacial models. That's we are going to use 1,440. Then also we will use inverters from SMR, Sunny Tree Power. There are going to be 10 of them. And we also, we are using a single tracking system with backtracking from Schletter, which is a German company. So that's how we will generate with 500 kilowatt peak. We will be generating 1,350,000 kilowatt hour per year, which is quite nice. That comes down to here on the upper left side, you can see we generate, which is each kilowatt installed, we generate 2,450 kilowatt hour a year. If you compare it with Germany, you talk about 900 kilowatt per year. So it's really more than double that we can harvest in Mexico, which is due to the perfect conditions we have and the technology we are implementing here. So there's some photos about the construction right now. Right now we are putting up the solar panels, and yeah, that's so much from my side. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Alexander, for your great presentation. And I would like to go over directly to Alejandro. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, sorry, I have a little difficulty here. Well, thank you very much. I want to thank Inga and Kira for this opportunity to share with you some of our experience in the Mexican market, especially in this new area, which is distributed generation. I want to talk a little bit about NOTUS. Perhaps some of you know NOTUS as a wind energy player. Well, NOTUS has been developing, delivering and operating wind farms for more than 50 years, almost 20 years now. So we focus on the initiation and development of our own projects. That's back in Germany. NOTUS Energy started its overseas activities in 2007. We started with Bulgaria, then we have activities across Europe, and then we started activities in Mexico with NOTUS Energía Mexico, which is the company I represent here, which is the subsidiary of NOTUS Energy. Here we started our operations in August of 2014. And our main idea was to develop wind and solar projects, utility scale projects. But after several changes with the law, with the prices on solar panels, we decided to focus more on solar projects and also enter the distributed generation projects. We have been working perhaps from 2 years now in distributed generation projects. And right now, as Alex already mentioned, we are working together in the Autodromo project. I just want to, Alex already mentioned this about the distributed generation. Here in Mexico, to have a distributed generation project, it has to be done by an extended generation. That means that we are less than 500 kilowatts. And we have to be interconnected to a distribution circuit, which, as Alexander already mentioned, it is part of, we have to connect to CFE, which is the only grid operator here in Mexico. We see some benefits comparing to the distributed generation projects with the utility scale projects. The first one is that we do not require the SENASA's interconnection process or interconnection studies, that these take a lot of time and are very expensive. we do not require a power generation permit. This one is not expensive because we are a clean energy, but it might take some time. So that's something we do not need for the distributed generation projects. We also don't need the social impact assessment that if here in Mexico, it's very important for the utility scale projects. We need to make an assessment, and in case there is a community, well, with what we call ancient communities, then we have to make a special assessment, and it can take over 2 years to have a positive resolution on this. So it's better to don't have to do it with the distributed generation. We also do not require an environmental impact assessment unless, as I mentioned here, unless they are on a forest land use. But what we have done here in our experience, we look for land plots which are on agricultural, that means use, that means that they have already been modified and it's not a natural or forest land use. And then it is pretty easy just to change the land use to have it for our solar power plant. And then we do not require solar resource campaigns. And that's basically because, as Alex also mentioned, we have a very good irradiation here in Mexico, especially in the central northern part of Mexico, of the country. And that's why we only use satellite information, and that's enough for us. Well, this is the same Alex already mentioned, where we are the project Autódromo. We are in San Luis Potosí state, which is in the center of Mexico, and the state, and here in the municipality of Zaragoza, which is only 30 minutes away from San Luis Potosí city, which is the capital of San Luis Potosí state. And this is a really basic diagram of how we interconnect to the grid. We have the solar power, the solar panels, the inverters. Then we have this converter box, the transformer, the power meters, switches, and then we go to the grid. This is all inside the project, and then we connect outside the project to the grid. Mm-hmm. Here, what I wanted to show you is how we have been working together with GOLDBECK and Energy to Market in which different states. This project in particular, I'm talking here about the Autódromo project, which all the financial was done, all the economics is done by NOTUS and GOLDBECK Solar. We are here in a 50-50 joint venture. Then all the development, which in general it's the assessment, the permitting, and interconnection process, which I'm going to talk in the next slide. It's done by NOTUS. All the engineering, it's done mainly by GOLDBECK. We only support some initial issues here in NOTUS, like the topography and other assessments, but it's mainly done by GOLDBECK Solar. Then all the EPC contractor, all the construction is done also by GOLDBECK Solar. And the commissioning here, it's very important because we are working all together. We need some information on the early stage of the development in the interconnection process. We need the construction information that it's done by GOLDBECK Solar, and of course we need the supplier, which is the entity that's going to be selling the power into the market, that it's Energy to Market. That's why we are making a really good team together, so we can put this project to run this project properly. And in the O&M, we are also looking who is going to make each part of the operation and maintenance. Of course, energy to market, it's always going to be here to sell the energy, so that's a long-term contract we have with them. And the local maintenance will be divided between NOTUS, because we are here in San Luis Potosí, and some works will be done from here, and some others will be done by GOLDBECK, like the monitoring, for example. Here, I tried to be really brief in the interconnection process. These are the main milestones. We have a lot of more milestones, and each process takes its time. But I want just to make emphasis on this process. Here we have to make a contract, and here we are talking about the power plant and the supplier. This is Autódromo and Energy to Market. That's where we start, because the supplier is going to be always our communication between CFE and the power plant. Then we will deliver the power plant documentation through the supplier. They ask us about, well, everything about the project. And also here we need information from GOLDBECK, because they are building the project. So we must integrate all the information and send it to CFE through the supplier. We have to register the power plant with SENACE. They give us a number, a special number for the, we call it the acronym or acronym for the power plant. And this is pretty much the same. Also, we have to deliver then all the power meters. In this case, we need 2 power meters. That's what the law establishes. So we deliver the power meters to CFE for calibration. It takes about perhaps 15 days for them to liberate the power meters. Then we signed the interconnection contract between CFE and which is CFE distribution. Here I want to make just a parenthesis. CFE, it's not anymore one company. It is one company but divided in many companies. And here we talk with CFE distribution. After CFE give us the power meters, we need to install the power meters, and then we have to make an inspection unit, site visit. We call here the Unidad de Inspección or Unidad de Verificación, which is inspection unit or verification unit. And these people need to give us a certification that the power plant it's okay, and it is according to the technical laws. And then we need to make the communication system diagnosis with SENACE. This is done with Energy to Market, SENACE. And after that, we deliver the inspection unit, the CESIP to the CRE. This is the Comisión Reguladora de Energía, which is the independent unit that looks that everything is working well in the market. And after we have done everything, then we are ready to begin the operations. This process, from the beginning to the end, takes around 6 to 8 months. There's a point here where the power plant is already constructed after the power meters, and in this last process, we take about 2 to 3 months just to get the power plant connected to the grid. So it's a job that has to be done by all the 3 parties, because we need information from the 3 parties. And well, that's basically the interconnection process for a distributed generation project, which is really different to the process of interconnection of an utility scale project in Mexico. In the utility scale, we go with SENACE, not with CFE, and it takes about 1 year or more to have the interconnection process done. As a conclusion, well, here we think that distributed generation projects are going to be part of an important part of the power plants in Mexico in all its in different ways, like Alex already mentioned, in solar roofs, or here or in carports or like here with trackers. And as GOLDBECK Solar Energy to Market at NOTUS, we are really focusing to have a key term project for the industry, to have a very good project with very high standards, and well, that's what we are aiming to do in the next years. And that's pretty much my presentation. Here's my contact information. Thomas Stack is the head of NOTUS for Latin America. You can contact him. We are always talking almost every day, so we know pretty much the same stuff of the Mexican market. Thomas, he has a lot of knowledge. And of course, you can contact me for any topics or issues, my email or and then we can have a call or something.
Okay, thank you so much, Alejandro. So now I would like to come to our last presentation. So Jose, if you are ready, then the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you to all the participants in this webinar to be here. I will talk a little bit about the challenges in the electricity market for these kind of projects. First of all, E2M is a joint venture with NOTUS Energy. We took the independent broker business model. Also, sorry, I lost my presentation. Yeah, okay. We are also making a lot of consultancy and training. We help companies as Shell to develop their business model in Mexico. We also make some training for Siemens. We help BayWa to choose the best project in order to make the most of the market. They chose between 5 projects with all the studies that we made for them. And I want to start sharing a little bit of the Mexican market. It's a merit-based electricity market based on the marginal cost of generation, very similar to all the open markets around the world. But with a little bit difference, we have a nodal price model. So if we have some network restrictions and we have different technologies and a lack of natural gas in some regions of Mexico and a lot of generation in other parts of Mexico, that makes a very complex market. In the northern part of Mexico, we have well imported electricity from the US. We have a lot of shale gas. And in the south part of Mexico, we have a lot of cost of gas transportation. And in the Mexican Peninsula, we have a few gas and a lot of generation plants with oil and diesel. So with these prices and with scenario, we have to understand what to do with a power plant. And we have to design the strategy in order to sell that electricity to the market or to final users. This is the behavior of the market prices in for example, the Yucatan Peninsula. And we see that in summer we have higher prices than in winter as all the electricity markets. But here also we have in 24 hours the change of the behavior. So during day, the market prices are higher, right? But right now we are seeing the change of behavior, that during night we have huge peaks. And this is the change of behavior that we have been studying, and a lot has changed because we have, when the reform started in Mexico, we had around 800 megawatts of solar plants, and nowadays we have around 6,000 megawatts in just 3 to 4 years. So that changes a lot the behavior of the market prices in Mexico. So well, this is the evolution of the demand. I have just 10 minutes, so that's why I'm going a little bit fast, but I wanted to share you this information. And we have been seeing a lot of changes recently. First, in 2019, around 7,000 megawatts were added to the network. That changes a lot. The behavior, we can see it here with the market prices seen in 24 hours versus the tariffs. As a new market, there are the companies have the possibility to choose between tariffs and between electricity market prices. So they are actually most of the companies with tariffs with the basic supplier. So they have a stable cost, high cost but stable, and they have the market prices where they can make bilateral agreements or the famous PPAs, or they can buy from the market. So if we see this kind of behavior with all the new power plants, it's very important to understand this in order to design where to put your solar plants, and also to whom you are going to sell that electricity. And also we have here a huge change in the behavior because of the crisis that started last year in Mexico. And then we have COVID. So with COVID, you can see the market prices going very low because the demand, it's also quite low in Mexico. Cement companies, iron companies are working around 30 to 40% of their capacity. So as we can see, for example, if we sell in this green line, if we sell the electricity to a final user, we can have a very good income for the power plants, and we are avoiding the imminent risk of COVID and the crisis that it's about to come. And the market prices will stay low. That's an analysis that we have made, and a lot of companies that are analyzing the spot market prices, they think also that these market prices are going to be low for the next years. So today, what we are suggesting to this kind of projects is to sell to basic suppliers in order to get some discount for them and a better income for the project. So we have to analyze every project and every technology in order to see where in Mexico is the best point to install these DG projects. And also, if you have a consumer that is going to arrive to Mexico to put a plant for, I don't know, for supplying BMW of, I don't know, some parts for the cars, where to put that plant, it's also a thing to discuss, because with different market prices and different capabilities in the network, because San Luis Potosí, for example, as Alexander and Alex were talking about, it's a very huge industrial area, but they have a lot of network problems. So to put more consumption there, it's quite difficult. So it's very important in the nodal market to understand where is the best place to put your consumption or your plant, or to put generation. Also to projects that are on site, we have to discuss them, because we have been recently having clients that put on-site generation in, for example, Sonora in the northern part of Mexico, where the market prices during the day are almost zero. So as a joke, I told them, if you want to put something to see, to the people see that you are having renewables, put 2 panels and you buy all the electricity from the market. You don't need to make a huge installation if the market is almost zero. But in some places where the distribution costs behind the meter are quite high, that makes sense to put solar panels on site, or where the market prices are quite high also. As I told before, not all the regions are suitable for distributed generation. And understanding that we have a novel market with different prices, I know that in the future, the idea of making novel prices and have high prices to make an incentive for more generation, and low prices to make an incentive to put more consumption there, in the long term, the market prices will stabilize, or there will be hubs created. But today, with this difference of prices, if you have some generation in where the market prices are high, our recommendation is to get clients where the market prices are very low, because that difference could become an income for the project, or could become also savings for the final user. With this kind of analysis, we help our customers to get the most of the market, to have the best income that they have, that they could have. And that's what we do, and that's what we are talking about in this project of Autódromo. We also help with all the permits that they have to make. We help because in the process, as Alejandro said, we have the 3 parts have to be involved. The 3 parts have to be discussing with CFE transmission and with SENACE, that is the entity that operates the network and also the market. And also what we are now making a lot of analysis is about storage. Because in some parts of Mexico, as you saw in some of the charts, the peak hours or the highest price hours now are getting at night. So the perfect combination for the solar projects on site, or these little projects to sell to the markets, it's storage. Now we are helping some companies in order to make the most also for the storage systems, because it's a quite difficult analysis to see how the market prices are going to be in the next day, in the day ahead market, how the possible critical hours for capacity are going to be, and to deliver the instructions to the battery in order to optimize also the time of living of these batteries. So that kind of analysis and that kind of instructions to the battery, we are working with our customers in order to help also to have the most of their batteries and their solar systems on site. This it's a little bit what I wanted to talk to you about. These are my information, and my LinkedIn if you want to ask direct questions and have some information about the market.
Thank you so much, José. Thank you all for your really interesting information and giving us insights into your joint project and also on the latest developments on the market. Now we would like to start our Q&A session. So I think there might be some questions now, but at least I have seen that Michael has 2 questions, and I would like to address the first one. So Michael is asking, how is the safety situation in Mexico? Is it safe to travel, visiting wind farms around the country? So who would like to take this first question?
Alejandro. I would like to answer that question. Yes, as you know, Mexico it's a really large country. We have a drought situation around the country. That's something everybody knows. That's not something we want to hide. And yes, there are parts in Mexico that are really, it's really difficult to go through. Are other parts like here, San Luis Potosí or Aguascalientes or many states that you can go freely everywhere and it's really safe. I myself traveled to many projects, to other projects in the north of Mexico, to Coahuila, to Tamaulipas, which is a difficult state, but it has some parts that are very fine. So our recommendation, or my recommendation, will be always to get to know before you go to travel to Mexico where you're going to travel, and if possible, travel with some local guide. That's the best way to do it. It's almost is the safest way. And well, whenever again, if you need any feedback, you can call us and we can give you some insights about that. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you, Alejandro. So Michael also has another question. He's also asking, sorry, I just got a question. He's asking, how is the ratio between full service contract agreements where the supplier of the wind turbines is responsible for the maintenance and ISP, independent service providers? So anyone would like to come back to this question?
Excuse me, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, sure. How is the ratio between full service contract agreements where the supplier of the wind turbines is responsible for the maintenance and ISP, independent service providers?
Well, here it always depends. It depends on the wind turbine provider. We know that, for example, many companies here in Mexico want or will take part of the first years of the O&M, and that's almost always part of the contract. That's where we talk about the wind industry. In the solar industry, it's pretty much the same. The EPC contractor always wants to keep perhaps 2 years with the O&M, and then any other company can come into and have that contract if it's better for the project. In our experience, we see that it makes a lot of sense that the EPC contractor stays at least in the terms of the warranty. We want the EPC contractor to be together with the project in the first 2 to 5 years at least. And then we are looking if it's better to keep with the EPC contractor as O&M, or we look for another specialized company, which in Mexico, as a new market, there are not so many companies that provide the O&M services as an independent provider, but there will be in the next years, of course, more. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Alejandro. I see there's just another question. So Sophie is asking, is it easier for German companies to do business in Mexico if they are in a joint venture with Mexican companies? Or do they have chances alone? And if so, why?
Yes, I can say something to that. I highly recommend looking for local partners. It's there are many advantages. I mean, if you, I'm going to start the video. Okay. If you are starting like us. We came December 2017 to Mexico, and there are basically two ways. You know, you can go back with your own full investment, or you start on a smaller scale and try to grow. And that's what we have done, and it's quite a safe way. And what we have done, and you can see here today, is that we have identified two partners where we know that we complement each other, and we also have the trust, no? That we know how they work, we've seen the work, we know they really know what they're doing in Mexico, and it's really recommendable to know these people and get some partnerships. It's something I would highly recommend. And if you're still growing and looking for your path. So yes, definitely.
And also I would like to add that E2M, as I told you, it's a joint venture with NOTUS. And we are helping a lot of companies that want to enter to Mexico. For example, a fund in California that's investing in solar. Another company from, it's called, the company, it's, I forgot the name. But this company of Venezuela, it's investing also in thermoelectrical projects in Mexico. Also, we are helping a company called Telemenia, that it's a company of Israel, to start their operations in Mexico with a power plant also. So it's very important to have your local partner, but also it's very important to get to the agency here that invite us in order to have some I don't know if the correct term is some training or some ideas of how to enter to Mexico. And we as E2M are open also to help you if you want to enter to Mexico.
Yeah, just final comment to that. We have our offices in the German center, which is really, you know, for this kind of purpose, to start to get a first step. We are in the CAMEXA here with the Deutsch-Mexikanische Industrie- und Handelskammer, which is helping us a lot also with contacts. And we have local partners identified. So I think that's a very natural way of, you know, entering Mexico and as a new market. So yeah, it's really good. It's working very good.
We're talking about cooperation and local partners. I think it would be maybe also interesting to know, how can German companies find local partners? What is the best way to address or to find local partners?
Well, you can talk to us. We are already here, obviously, making our experience. And I would highly recommend the institutions which are here in Mexico for many, many years, which are, again, German Center and the CAMEXA, the German-Mexican Industry and Chamber of Commerce. They are very, very good partners. There's ENERGIEAGENTUR. So you can get a lot of information, inside information. They have many, many feedbacks from many companies. And also, well, we also would be happy to answer some questions. So that's what I would recommend.
I would like to add, thank you, Alex, for the nice promotion. And as you already mentioned, well, the German Chamber of Commerce, or all the German Chambers of Commerce, there are more than 90 German Chambers of Commerce globally. They are mainly or mostly the first contact points of companies, of German companies, trying to getting to know the different countries and what's going on in the different sectors. So yes, we always are happy to help.
So, well, at the moment, I can't see any more questions. Are there any questions you still would like to ask to our panelists? If not, maybe, Kira, we could go over to your questions.
Yes, and actually talking about what we do in the German Chamber, we have a second pool prepared for you. Oscar, if you help me please to show the second one. Would you like to receive further information by the AHK Mexico and the experts on request? And are you interested on receiving information concerning, and obviously you have multiple choice option. This gives us a better idea to know what to send to you afterwards, after the webinar. And Oscar, maybe you can already help us showing the third slide of the presentation. Okay, I can see the everyone is very interested in getting to know more about the renewable energy market in general. However, I see there's a lot of interest also in the legal framework of the energy sector, as already mentioned by our experts, and a summary of important news of 2 to 3 months. Actually, we do post this report on our website, so we will afterwards in a complete email send you the most relevant information. So thank you for answering. Inga, would you like to mention the upcoming events of your organization?
Thank you, Kira. Well, we will have some upcoming events you would like to announce, which might be interesting for you. Well, first of all, I would like to invite you to an online conference, or better, it's even a hybrid conference with a streaming session, which will be realized by next week, Wednesday, by the Energy Agency. And well, the central topic of the conference will be on discussing the interconnections of the mining sector with renewable energy technologies. So a highly interesting topic. So if you're interested in joining us, please have a look at our homepage. There you will find the program and all the speakers, and the registration is still open. And secondly, I would like to invite you to our upcoming online seminars on the Latin American energy markets. So today we have realized the first one in Mexico, and there will be some more. So the next one will be on Costa Rica, focusing on geothermal power and also on biogas. This one will be realized on the 14th of October. And then we will come to Colombia and also Brazil in October and November. Kira?
Perfect, Inga.
Also like to announce some?
Yes, and we also have some upcoming events. Actually, we have a digital export promotion journey for German companies from the mining sector, with a focus on automation solutions. So if you have any interest, or you know companies from the mining sector interested in Mexico, let us know. Also for companies in the water and wastewater management, next year we also look at topics like energy efficiency in the industry sector. So there are some interesting digital activities. And as a participant, we always organize individual appointments, have, as I already mentioned, reports, the most relevant information. We offer networking and also a presentation for participating German companies in those digital delegations.
Perfect, thank you, Kira. So I think we're already running out of time. So first of all, would like to thank you, Kira, for realizing this event today together with us for the Energy Agency. I think it was a really interesting topic today, and I would like to thank our panelists, Alejandro, José. Thank you so much for giving us insights into your current work and also an overview of the, let's say, current situation on the Mexican energy market. And also, of course, I would like to thank the participants for taking part in the surveys to give us some information on your interest, experience, and information interests. And I'd like to say have a good afternoon or evening and stay healthy, of course. And I hope to see you soon again. And Kira?
Thank you also, Inga. And maybe one last comment. We will send a complete email with the presentations you saw and some more relevant information of the Mexican market too. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank
you very
you.
much. Bye.
Bye-bye.